It was the year 1975, at a time when life was simple, but not easy. There were no mobile phones, no internet, and no fast answers to life's problems. People worked hard, waited patiently, and dreamed quietly. In a small rural town, there lived a young man named Thomas. Thomas was not wealthy. He lived with his parents in a small wooden house. His father worked in a factory, and his mother took care of the home. Life was built on struggle, but also on love. Thomas had big dreams. He wanted to change his life. He wanted to make his parents proud, but he didn't know how. Every day, he worked small jobs after school, carrying goods, cleaning shops, helping neighbors. He was tired most of the time, but he never complained. One evening, while walking back home through an empty street, something caught his attention. That a small object was lying near an old wall. He picked it up. It was a coin, a 1975 U.S. coin. It looked ordinary, slightly worn, not shiny, not special to anyone else. But for Thomas, it felt different. That he turned it in his hand again and again. The year 1975 was clearly printed on it. He didn't know why, but he decided to keep it. That night, he showed it to his father. His father looked at it and said, "It's just a coin, but sometimes even small things become reminders of big journeys." Thomas nodded, but he didn't speak much. From that day, the coin stayed in his pocket. Days turned into months, and months turned into years. Life continued to test him. There were days when there was not enough money for food. There were days when dreams felt too far away. There were nights when silence felt heavy. But Thomas never stopped working. Whenever he felt weak, he would hold that 1975 coin tightly in his hand. It became more than metal. It became a symbol of survival, that a reminder that even something small can last through time. And so can it. At the age of 18, Thomas left his hometown and moved to the city. The city was loud, fast, and unforgiving. Everyone seemed busy. Everyone seemed ahead of him. At times, he felt lost. That he worked in restaurants, warehouses, and small shops. He studied whenever he could. He slept late and woke up early. That it was not an easy journey. Many times he wanted to quit, but he never did, because that coin was always with him. Years passed. Slowly, things began to change. Hard work started opening doors. Opportunities started appearing. Thomas began building a better life step by step. He was no longer the same boy who struggled in silence. He was becoming someone stronger. One day, he found himself working in an antique shop owned by an old collector. The owner was a calm man who had spent his life collecting rare items, especially coins. One afternoon, the owner noticed the coin in Thomas's hand. That he asked, "May I see it?" Thomas gave it to him carefully. The old man examined it closely. He turned it under the light, studying every detail. After a long pause, he said, "This is a 1975 U.S. coin. It's not extremely rare, but it belongs to a historical batch. Collectors may value it." Thomas asked, "Is it valuable?" The old man smiled gently and replied, "The real value is not in the coin, but in the real value is not in the coin, but in the person who carried it." Thomas stayed silent. For the first time, he truly understood. The coin was never just an object. That it was his journey, his struggle, his patience, his hope, his pain, his growth. Everything was inside it. Years later, Thomas became successful. He built a stable career, supported his family, and achieved what once felt impossible. One evening, sitting quietly at home, he took out that same 1975 coin. At it was still the same, small, simple, and worn, but now it felt powerful. Because it reminded him of where he started. He smiled and said softly, 1975 was not just a year, it was the beginning of everything I became. And in that moment, he understood a truth that stayed with him forever. Sometimes the smallest things we carry the biggest meaning in our lives.